the first phase of this is to just do a massive mind dump, brain dump, massive list, just to get it all out of that beautiful head of yours. Because you can relax when you've got a massive list, when you've got it all there in front of you in black and white or blue and white or red and white, pink and white, whatever you want to pen you want to use. When you've got it all in front of you, you can relax knowing that it's safe. It's written down, okay? Now, I have tried having lists for home, lists for work, lists for like well-being. Thing is, one gets forgotten. I think it's better when you have one long list of everything. Okay, now the way that can look is just like a lined pad of paper. I always work on just normal sheets of paper. I find that planners, and I see people looking for planners all the time, and they're wonderful. Apart from when you're a true creative, you just need to flow and create your own system, which is what we're doing now. And that sometimes by forcing ourselves through someone else's planner, it can I don't know, it's never really worked for me. I've bought them all. I've spent 50 quid plus on planners, like individual planners, and they've been left completely blank. Okay, so that's what I want to help you do, is to create your own planner, really. And if you can come up with your own planner system, we can then like make it really beautiful, but it's your system, okay? Because we all work in different ways. I think that's why we get a little unstuck when we're trying to fill in and fall in with someone else's planning system. And so with that in mind, when you're looking at what I'm sharing with you today, I want you to take what you want from it, but also give yourself room to add your own little bits to it, because this is your journey, your life, your time, your stuff, your to-dos. And so whilst you might take things from my experience and what I've done, it's never going to be exactly the same for you. Okay, now what I would encourage you to do is to get a blank piece of paper. So if I take my list off here, I'll show you what I've done previously. It's just a blank piece of paper, and then write some columns at the top. So maybe it's task, and then you might have project. Now, the reason I put project as a separate little column, obviously don't read my writing. So tasks, project helps me then, if I'm really honing down on a particular project. So at the moment I'm writing a book and a conference, I'm trying to get the nest off, and I've got my ladies in the keepsake company to look after, so I've got quite a bit going on. So I might want to write conference by the ones that relate to conference, because the conference is actually really soon, so I can scan through and pick out and make sure that I've remembered everything for that. I also like to write is the time. Now so for me, the time is how long I think it's going to take me. And that just helps me, because if it's a 5-minute task, I can scroll down and go, I've got 5 minutes, right, I can tick that off my list, okay? The other things you can put down there are the priority. So you can do the Stephen Covey of important, urgent, non-important, non-urgent, and like the combination of the four. So it's either important and non-urgent, or important and urgent, which is like, let's do it now, someone's going to die. If it's important and non-urgent, then they're the stuff that tend to get left, but they're the things we need to do to grow our business, like marketing and stuff like that. There's the non-important urgent stuff, which is just like other people's drama normally. And then there's non-important, non-urgent. Well, why is it on our list? But we write it down anyway, because it's going around and it's clogging up our thoughts, okay? And then I always have a little thing at the end, done, so I can tick it off, or I tick it off in the margin. And you can also schedule it, but what I tend to do, you don't want too many columns really, so I think that's really where I would leave it. Now, the idea here is take a bit of time, one evening, and I don't know about you, but I've got scraps of paper like all over the place. So when I'm feeling like that, then I'll grab all my pieces of paper, they're in a big pile, and I'll literally go through and find all the little scribbles I've made for myself, tasks, and I'll just list them all down the page, okay? So I've got one long list. Yes, I have been known to go onto the back and do a separate sheet. Don't let that freak you out, okay? All we're doing here is bringing all the little bits together, just so that we know we can stop worrying. It's all on there, okay? So that's the first step of the process. I want you to take a bit of time now, however long you need, and as you're writing, things will go, oh God, and it's Oliver's party this week. And I must get him a cake, and I haven't got any candles. Okay, all of those go on, and then it's like, I must ring the electrician because our boiler's broken. I must do that. These are all genuine things. Like, these are the things that would come into my mind as I'm writing my to-do list, okay? And it's going to just be a messy, because we're creatives. We thrive on that stuff. So let's just get it all down there, and then we'll move on to the next phase, okay?